Hey, Jeff from Become More Compelling here. So I want to give you a people skills tip. In the age of social distancing and quarantining, it's still good to work on your people skills. That way, when you actually get back in the office or out in the real world, as opposed to being on Zoom meetings, you'll be prepared and you'll be your best. So the tip I want to talk about today, this is something that is super powerful, and it's something that's completely changed how I interact with people. And I think once you learn about it, it's going to help you as well. So it's possible to see the same event two different ways. It's possible to see the same event two different ways. So an example of this might be you walk into work, and back when we could walk into work, or you hop on a Zoom meeting and you say hi, and your boss just brushes past you or doesn't respond. So there are a couple of different ways you can interpret that. So you can interpret that one as, oh, they must be mad at me. I better watch out. I better walk on eggshells today, or whatever it is. Another way to interpret that is, oh, they must be preoccupied. So both could be right or wrong. Maybe your boss is mad at you. Maybe they are preoccupied. Maybe they're both. Maybe they're neither. Here's the message and the lesson. The lesson is we can't really control external events, right? So we can't control external events, but what we can have influence on are our perceptions. So we can control our interpretations of those events. Now, let me ask you this. The narrative of my boss is mad at me versus the narrative of, oh, they're probably just busy. Which one is going to serve you better? Which one is going to allow you to bring your best self to that interaction or that work day? Well, it's the second one. Like, oh, they're probably just preoccupied. It's not, probably has nothing to do with me. Because the reality is, out of the many thousands of possibilities, that is probably the most likely scenario. Let's do another example. So let's say you text someone and they don't text you back. Two different realities that you can choose to live in. You can choose to live in the reality of, oh, what did I do? Where did I mess up? Do they not like me? Whatever it is. Not going to be terribly productive. Or you can choose to live in the reality of, oh, yeah, they're probably just preoccupied. They probably just are watching Tiger King on Netflix or whatever the case may be. Which one is going to allow you to bring your best self to your next interaction with that person, or even just your best self to making a peanut butter sandwich while you would be waiting on a text back? Which one's going to allow you to bring your best self? Well, the second one. So a couple of cool things to kind of back up this point. There is an author by the name of Byron Katie, and she has this framework called The Work. And so what this is you notice what upsets or angers you throughout the day, like what can be frustrating. What she recommends is you actually write it down. You write down what that thing is. You capture that stressful thought, and then you turn it around. So you choose a different viewpoint. The example that I heard on the Tim Ferriss show was like someone cuts you off in traffic. And I don't know about you, but that could really upset me, as my wife will tell you. So you can do a couple of different things. You can live in two realities. One reality is like, oh, this person's so inconsiderate. How could they just cut in front of me like that? You know, what gives them the right? Whatever it is. Now, that's one way to live your life, and that's fine. I definitely have lived there many times. Another way to think about it is, well, maybe they cut me off because they're trying to get to the hospital, because maybe they have a family member or loved one that is sick. The point is, you wouldn't really know either way. Like, you don't really have access to that information, but which version of reality that you're choosing to interpret, which one's going to give you a better experience? So that's Byron Katie's The Work, and that's more information on that is available at thework.com. Something else that I've had for years is this thing called the Creativity Whack Pack. And so what it is kind of exercises to get you thinking about topics and ideas in a different way to help make you more creative in the moment. Because if you've ever been in a creative field, you know that if you look too closely at a problem, it becomes really difficult to be creative around that problem and think of a solution. So there's a card in here called Reverse. And so what it is reversing how you look at a situation can open you up to new possibilities and dislodge assumptions, which that's a lot of what we've been talking about. An example, when everyone else is gazing at the glorious sunset, why not turn around to see the blues and violets behind you? So how can you reverse your viewpoint when it comes to a recent social interaction that you've had? That's our lesson for today. So your action step is when you find yourself making an automatic negative interpretation during a social situation, or even after a social situation, flip the other way around, reverse your viewpoint and ask yourself, how could I interpret this differently? So my action step for you also is take 5 minutes and just think of one recent situation where you made that automatic negative interpretation. How could you have interpreted it in a more positive way? So this is a borderline superpower because everything is related. If you have better interpretations, then you're going to start noticing that you're bringing your best self to interactions, and then you create better interactions because you're expecting the best. You know, we don't have control over events that happen in life, but we have a lot more control than we might think over our interpretations of those events. So if you have any further questions that you'd like to see me answer on video, send me an email at jeff@becomemorecompelling.com, and I will talk to you next time.